Welcome everybody to another edition of the Monday Night Wars. This is the 83rd week in the Monday Night Wars, the 87th episode of Nitro, but the 83rd week they go head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. Nitro beats Raw for the 46th week in a row. The scores for this week were 3.6 in the TV ratings for Nitro. Raw scored a 3.1, so they both did pretty impressive ratings. It was a hot week for wrestling, but Nitro wins by 0.5 as they win 3.6 to 3.1 over the WWF. So through 83 weeks now in totality, Nitro has 64 wins, WWF has 17 wins, and 2 draws. This is the winning Nitro 3.6 rating, a 1-hour episode due to the NBA playoffs on TNT. And they've beaten the WWF for 46 weeks in a row now. So that's pretty impressive for the WCW side. Shivani and company at the desk for another 1-hour edition of Nitro. This is the last one because next week it'll be back to 2 hours in Nashville. This week's is from Asheville Civic Center in Asheville, North Carolina. Tony says we have a jam-packed edition of Nitro. This is May 19th, 1997, live on TNT. This is the night after Slamboree 1997. The pyros go off. The Nitro theme hits. We open with a shot of WCW beating the NWO in the main event of Slamboree in that 6-man tag match with Flair, Kevin Green, and Roddy Piper defeating Six and the Outsiders, the Wolfpack they call themselves, in the NWO. Flair's music hits to open up Nitro. Comes out to a huge pop in Flair country and does his usual shtick with Mean Gene going, Mean Gene. Flair calls it the greatest thrill of his career by defeating the NWO. That's pretty high praise considering Flair's career, as long and historic as it's been. Six then comes out to the NWO's theme, and Six comes out interrupting Flair. Six says, "You beat no one last night," as the wrong guy was in the ring. Flair takes off his jacket and says, "Six, he knows he can take him." Six says if Flair has the guts, we can do it right here tonight. The fans cheer. Flair says Hall and Nash I don't know about, but he says in Asheville he's going to kick Six's ass. The two shove each other until it gets broken up as the fans pop, and the main event to this Nitro is set in the opening segment. Alright, so that's how it goes. We're going to have Flair and Six in the main event as the opening segment does its justice to spark excitement for the show tonight. The opening contest in the ring, Lord Steven Regal defended his newly won TV title against Prince Aoki as Lord Steven Regal defeated the Ultimo Dragon the night before Slamboree to become the new TV champ. A crucifix almost did Regal in, making his title reign almost just a 24-hour reign. Prince Aoki almost caught him, but a kick to the spine and a big slam followed by the Regal stretch does in Aoki. Regal retains the title after the Regal stretch submission move just over 2 minutes. I gave it 3/4 of a star as Regal retains the TV title. They show clips of Wrath and Mortis attacking Glacier at Slamboree until a referee hit a spinning heel kick, and it's Ernest the Cat Miller. Sort of a debut here for them. Next up, Masahiro Chono of the NWO for NWO Japan against Squire David Taylor. Or Squire David Taylor. I don't know. It's Squire. I don't know what way to pronounce it. It's a weird name. Masahiro Chono hit a bunch of right hands until walking into an atomic drop. Chono flexes on the top rope as the fans boo. A powerbomb attempt turns into a back body drop by Taylor that he runs into a big boot in the corner. Chono with an STF submission hold, and Taylor taps. So 2 matches on Nitro, both similar matches by ending in submission with just around 2 minutes. I gave it a star. Mean Gene then interviews Sonny Ono. He says that Masahiro Chono of the NWO has a debt to pay to him, as does all of New Japan. He says next week Masahiro Chono will face his worst nightmare, and he will have to wait until next week to find out who it is to make him sweat. He said he wants to make him sweat twice. Speaking of twice, they showed the same thing twice. Sorry about my phone going off. It usually doesn't go off this much, but it's just going off non-stop right now. So I apologize for that, but back to the video on Nitro. It really came off awkward because they played J.J. Dillon's segment twice backstage where he says Nick Patrick is reinstated as a referee. He'll be on probation as it deserves a second chance. Then they show the same promo again, saying J.J. Dillon allowed Patrick to appear in person, and because of his impeccable record and his statements, he'll be reinstated. They showed that clip twice in a row for whatever reason. Maybe it was before a commercial and after a commercial kind of thing. Next up, we got Scotty Riggs against Michael Wallstreet. Wallstreet, as you know, formerly as IRS, he comes out with a WCW shirt with a red cross over the WCW as he was part of the NWO, but he was part of the NWO. I'm not sure if he still is, but he didn't come out to the NWO music or NWO things, but he does have WCW with a cross through it. Next out is Scotty Riggs, still to that terrible American Males theme. Bell rings and the two lock up, and then a side headlock takeover by Scotty Riggs. Nick Patrick, who is returning, doesn't need controversy right away as he gets in the face of Wallstreet. A backside suplex, as this is Patrick's first match reffing since that incident. A backside suplex and a headlock by Michael Wallstreet. A short inside cradle almost surprises Michael Wallstreet, but he kicks out. A leg drop followed by a near fall and a lateral press back into a headlock. A sunset flip to Riggs to Michael Wallstreet, who had something in his hands, and he turns, and the momentum goes the other way as Scotty Riggs gets the 3 count. Wallstreet is not happy with Nick Patrick, who is helping a WCW wrestler win this time, so redeeming himself of sorts. Rated at 3/4 of a star. Next, car racer Mark Martin shows up with Flair as he's going to give away a car. They promote the Flair 6 match a bit more for the main event. They show a clip from Slamboree of Savage cutting a promo on DDP, and he runs to the ring with a crutch in his hand while Bischoff tells Savage to walk to the back. This is at Slamboree last night. DDP says, "What's the deal, Savage? You must have a previous engagement." DDP says, "You probably got to go to Hogan's house to wash his car and kiss his ass." The fans ooh and ah. This rubs Macho Man the wrong way, of course, and he goes to the ring to fight him, but DDP knocks down with the crutch Macho Man, Bagwell, Vincent, and then Scott Norton comes down to take him down, and the Savage gets up and beats on DDP as the NWO was too much for the numbers game. The Giant came out and saved DDP from Savage. This was an explosive segment. The feud continues through 1997 as one of the better ones. It won PWI's Feud of the Year in 97, did DDP and Savage, as a reminder. Next up, the Steiners took on JJ and McMichael of the Four Horsemen. The Steiners are the number 1 contenders for the tag titles, and they showed it here with great cohesive unit work, as always, with the two brothers. They defeated the Horsemen here. JJ grabs the briefcase, but Kevin Green runs to the ring, and Green levels Mongo as the fans cheer. Scott Steiner covers him after a suplex, and they get the victory in about 4 or 5 minutes. I gave the match a 1.5 stars. As the Steiner brothers continue to look dominant on WCW Nitro. The main event was Ric Flair versus Six, and too bad as this match probably would have had good chemistry, but it didn't really get going. There's still a lot of bad blood after the night before from the 6-man tag, and obviously the promo that kicked off Nitro between the 2 words from both men. Six and Flair had the fans engaged. Flair did his dancing around the ring. Six rebounds with a spin kick. The NWO come in right away. The Outsiders, the Wolfpack, right away. And they beat on Six, so Flair wins by DQ under a minute. They didn't beat on Six, they helped Six against Flair, I mean. And, Flair wins by DQ at about a minute of action as Hall gives him the Outsider's edge, and Nash gives him a jackknife powerbomb. So I give the match no rating as it ended under a minute. That does it for the wrestling portion of Nitro. The NWO was booked strong as they do the job to WCW the night before. Bischoff comes out and says, "Has Ric Flair, you call it your greatest moment? Well, how is the moment now?" That's what, not Bischoff, that was what Kevin Nash says. And Scott Hall says, hey Flair, look at you now. Wolfpack is for life. And then we come back on Nitro, and now Bischoff comes out. And Bischoff says he wants to talk to Sting, and he looked everywhere up above. Sting is not here tonight in Nashville. And it's too bad because he wanted to tell him how much Hollywood Hogan was never going to be in the ring with you because it doesn't deserve your time. And you should worship the ground that he spits on. All of a sudden, Sting comes up from underneath the ring. And he gives Bischoff a Scorpion Death Drop. That was such a great ending to the show that I rate 5.5 out of 10. The wrestling was subpar on this night, but the storylines were decent. And for a 1-hour show, you can't really go wrong. The use of characters on the show was very good. The ending with Sting finally hitting Bischoff with a Scorpion Death Drop was classic. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these reviews. For another Nitro Down, I'm Brett Mix, and keep on supporting the channel. And I'm out.